are about to see may change your thinking, your understanding, your life, and help build a peaceful world for all. But first, some background on our country.
Bangladesh today, a country with close to 130 million people, has one of the highest population densities in the world, some 876 people per square kilometer. Average per capita income hovers around US dollars 225 GDP. And we agree with the World Health Organization survey estimate of a 10% disability prevalence rate, indicating a disabled population of 13 million people. With more than 80% living in rural areas, life along the many rivers is relaxed and friendly, the predominantly rural countryside lush and beautiful. The hill tracts area in the southeast provides the contrast. Bangladesh, with thousands of years of history behind it, Turks, Mughals, Afghans, Armenians, Arabs and the Portuguese had already visited Bengal when the English finally settled in 1757. Muslim, Buddhist, Hindu, Christian, and other religious groups harmoniously living side by side, simple, friendly people entertaining a love of deliciously flavored food, traditional music and dance. When the area that now forms Bangladesh became a part of Pakistan in 1947, the people of Bangladesh were exploited, forcing Bangladeshis to rise in rebellion in 1971. A 9-month-long bloody war of liberation with Pakistan followed, and finally in December of 1971, the People's Republic of Bangladesh emerged as a free nation. The government of Bangladesh adopted a national policy on disability in 1995, approving in 1996 a disability action plan. April 4th, 2001, a memorable milestone for all people with disabilities throughout the country when the National Parliament passed the Bangladesh Disabled Welfare Bill, protecting their interests and rights. The majority of disabled people in Bangladesh suffer from poverty, gender discrimination, illiteracy, malnutrition, poor health, lack of sanitation and medical facilities. Too often they are treated as objects to be managed. For people with disabilities, there is no access to banks, modern shopping markets, offices, entertainment centres, national monuments. No access to infrastructure, to decision-making, politics, the planning process, into resources and development activities. And there is limited inclusion for children with disabilities into the government education system. The government runs some primary and integrated education schools for disabled people, and a few non-government organizations run institution-based educational rehabilitation schools, as this Mirpur Girls' School for visually impaired children. Bangladesh, Protibandhi, Kallyan, Somity, BPKS came into being in October 1985 as the result of a gathering of people with disabilities at Tongi, 16 kilometers north of Dhaka city. A local non-government organization, an NGO, was formed to act for the welfare of all disabled people throughout Bangladesh. The majority of BPKS staff members are people with disabilities.
আমরা এটাকে খুব ফর্মালি সঠিকভাবে জানি না, একদম তাত্ত্বিকভাবে আমরা জানি।
Founding initiator and executive director of BPKS is Abdus Sattar Dulal. At the time of reading in secondary school and at just 17 years of age, Sattar Dulal fell from a tree, damaged his spine, survived 43 days in hospital in a coma, and then under medical treatment at various times during the next 7 years. Despite his own disability, Sattar Dulal's sheer determination, his clear understanding of disabled people and disability issues, and his many great achievements in this field are a lesson for all.
যদি আপনি ডেভেলপমেন্ট চিন্তা করেন তাহলে আপনার ডেভেলপমেন্ট প্রসেসটাকে প্রতিবন্ধী বানিয়ে রাখা, যেটা আমরা রেখেছি।
From its beginning in 1985, BPKS has supported people with disabilities in their search for suitable jobs. The few non-government organizations working for the disabled which provide staff jobs for people with disabilities do not encourage recruitment of disabled people at management level. Providing training in vocational skills, mechanics, computer, tailoring and dressmaking. Assistive device support, community-based rehabilitation and referral. By organizing rallies and discussion meetings, observing national and international disability days, and highlighting disability issues. In cultural events. In competition at national and international sporting events. By participation with Disabled Peoples International, the human rights organization with consultative status to the United Nations. This training session, organized by BPKS in 1993, was the turning point for the disability movement in the country, an acceleration towards the goal of equal rights, equal opportunity, and equal participation for all. But something was missing.
Besides services, people with disabilities need to increase their intellectual capacity to actualize the development process. There is an urgent need for a strong leadership of disabled people at grassroots level. They should be acting as organizers and decision makers.
In early 1999, with the strong vision and guidance of Sattar Dulal, the support of staff, beneficiaries and associates, a new approach was born. One who remembers those times and the development of PSID is long-term BPKS member, PSID Senior Assistant Coordinator and Trainer Abdul Aziz Khan.
The most important thing about PSID is that one person with disability from grassroots level to national level share with other citizens in living a full, dignified and productive life. This is what we are looking for.
Wards, as the main tier of local government in Bangladesh, are the primary level of PSID. At ward level, people with disabilities self-initiative units, made up of women, men and associates, are established under the supervision of a centre at Upazila or sub-district level, the focal point of PSID at this level. Elected representatives from the units form the Centre Management Councils, and members of each Centre Management Council elect a 7-member Centre Executive Council to guide and monitor the units. The National Council, the highest policy-level body of BPKS, consists of 2 representatives from each of the PSID sub-district areas. This council elects an 11-member National Executive Council for a period of 3 years. The National Executive Council is involved in program implementation and takes decisions on the running of the organisation. BPKS headquarters is the central body for coordination and development of PSID programs at the national level. Here, BPKS complex headquarters, under construction 20 kilometres north of Dhaka city and close to Zia International Airport, acting as a focal point and providing support for the people with disabilities movement. In order to survive, an NGO or non-government organisation needs strong partnerships and support. To each of these donors and to the many other loyal supporters, BPKS members and staff, beneficiaries and associates remain most sincerely grateful. Numerous donor partners, close associates and loyal supporters have and continue to visit BPKS field activities. All indicate their commitment and excitement with the achievements and effectiveness of PSID. Chief Executive Bill Armstrong of donor Australian Volunteers International, absorbed in PSID activities at Foradganj, Jodhpur.
Director General of the Education Department.
And strong supporter of PSID, Jörg Volker Ketelsen, Chargé d'Affaires for the delegation of the European Commission to Bangladesh at PSID Kurigram. Sophie Beaumont, Parliamentary and Policy Officer for the European Disability Forum from Brussels, Belgium, visiting Manakganj. What were Sophie's impressions of PSID project activities?
Generally, extremely positive actually. Before I came to Bangladesh, I thought the situation was a lot more pessimistic for disabled people here. But my impressions from visiting the projects is that their motivation is very high and they are very optimistic for their future in terms of the work they've been doing so far to develop a political force at local level.
PSID. What are the step-by-step activities over the project's 3-year implementation phase? First, establishment of the PSID Centre and appointment of local staff. Next, a statistical survey of people with disabilities. Here volunteers Abdul Bashar and Asma, just 2 of those recruited to conduct a survey of each new project area. Those with visual impairment, hearing impairment, mental retardation, physical and multiple disabilities are the primary beneficiaries or target people of PSID. These people receive the direct benefit, other involved community people are secondary beneficiaries, and the community as a whole, the ultimate beneficiary of the project. Units are set up at grassroots level. Up to 40 women and men with disabilities enroll as basic members of each unit. Up to 20 associates of children with disabilities, the elderly and severely disabled, are also enrolled. Self-help unit activities include program planning and collection of weekly savings to develop and manage each unit. Unit savings, unit management and unit development funds are set up, as are centre management and centre development funds. PSID provides home-based therapy of a basic nature at grassroots level. Qualified staff therapists gradually pass on their therapy skills to the people with disabilities themselves. counselling is provided for those with intellectual disabilities. And provision of assistive devices, training in their use with maintenance follow-up. The BPKS Assistive Device Production Centre produces and sells wheelchairs and a number of other assistive devices. Referral services provide for medical, assistive device, education and employment opportunities. Disability detection and prevention camps. Eye, ear, nose and throat, intellectual, and camps for specific cases. Education. Here Jasmine and friends on their way to school, which is almost 1 kilometre from their homes. Throughout Bangladesh, many children have to travel long distances to school on foot, some with the aid of assistive devices, often in extreme heat, extreme weather conditions. PSID field staff arrange school enrolment. Initial school fees are paid as an incentive to encourage parents to send their child to school. Education materials, notebooks, pencils, all distributed to the children. Under PSID, ramps are installed for easy access and as an encouragement to other schools in the area. Ensuring a safe environment. PSID installed latrines and tube wells are easily accessible, environmentally friendly, safe and hygienic. Not only for people with disabilities, but for the elderly, the sick, pregnant women and children. Education on environmental issues extends to the schools with tree saplings provided to students. Jyoti in the grounds of her local primary school. And tree distribution in Faradganj. Years later, these trees can be sold to improve economic status. A vital part of PSID is intellectual capacity building training. Training in self-confidence building, understanding disability, gender issue, leadership development, PSID orientation. Self-initiative unit management and development, centre management and development, unit and centre accounts management, lobbying and advocacy, program accelerating. Localization of power and program, accessible sanitary latrine and tube well, skills income generating activities, country standard.
আমরা যদি আত্মবিশ্বাস বলি, সেলফ কনফিডেন্স বলি, এগুলো একটা গ্রো করে যে না আমাকে অন্য সাহায্য করার পাশাপাশি আমার পরিবারও সাহায্য করছে
হবে এবং মানুষকে দেখাইতে হবে। এবং আর কি করতে হবে? বিভিন্ন সভার মাধ্যমে, সেমিনারের মাধ্যমে, অনুষ্ঠানের মাধ্যমে, বিভিন্ন র্যালির মাধ্যমে এই সমস্ত বিষয়গুলোকে প্রদর্শন করতে হবে।
সাথে হই একটা কিছু করি তাহলে কি করবে?
আবার সমাজে আমাদেরকে মূল্যায়ন করেন নাই।
Country standard training ensures PWDs gain an understanding and awareness of their rights, here voting in the national election. PSID unit members also attend institutions for specialist skill training run by government and non-government agencies. Monitoring of PSID continues. Here, a monitoring and evaluation workshop with BPKS headquarters staff and PSID center coordinators. A program accelerating fund is established for each project area to support the economic activities of PSID members, emergencies, and to meet centre costs. To support income-generating activities. Advocacy and lobbying the relevant authorities on disability issues. Here, Executive Director Abdus Sattar Dulal, having personally drafted the legislation for people with disabilities, formally handing over the final draft to the Deputy Leader of Parliament in December of 1996. The Bangladesh Disabled Welfare Bill was passed by the Parliament in April 2001. Awareness raising, public meetings, orientation workshops with journalists, rallies and more to ensure acceptance and enrollment of people with disabilities in mainstream activities. Here the local community people assisting in ensuring a safe passage. Involved in PSID are local schools, local and government health centres, government and non-government training centres, religious institutions, local governmental bodies and other NGOs. This monthly gathering of NGO representatives at Tangal in discussion on key disability issues. At the end of the 3-year project implementation phase, each PSID project is handed over to the people with disabilities themselves. Centre management and centre executive councils guide and monitor each unit, with each centre acting as the focal point for PSID activities. PSID, a proven cost-effective project with its financial development program, intellectual capacity building training and empowerment activities, provides the foundation necessary to ensure sustainability. PSID members acquire dignity and self-respect. Each are stakeholders in society. Many disabled women and men now marry, have children, provide for their families, and participate fully in the community. The PSID concept, focusing development efforts on people with disabilities as a means of reaching all. All are involved as part of a vital social, civil, and human rights movement that will spread. The humanitarian impact is huge. Think about this.
Amor